Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm talking about the last episode of Young Justice. But before I start talking about Young Justice, we're going to make this a Young Justice day, because I have a lot of Young Justice news. One is that the Cirque Show, Chris and Kendra from YJ Cave, both did an award show, and that's out now on his channel, so I'm going to have links to both parts. I'm actually in both parts also. And it's a collab video of all Young Justice fans telling why they love Young Justice and giving awards to best episodes, best couple, so go check that out, support Young Justice. Another announcement is I have two videos to kind of celebrate the end of Young Justice, or not celebrate the end, but celebrate Young Justice in general. So one video is going to be, what would I like to see in Season 3? Now, especially with that cliffhanger, there's a lot to see in Season 3 because the light is definitely not totally destroyed. So we get to see that. That's one video that's going to be on my channel. What would I like to see in Season 3? Now for Dark Avenger Inc., the video is going to be a whole series review of Young Justice. So the good, the bad, and pretty much saying why I love Young Justice, but then saying there are some bad stuff also. So go check out that review, and you could check both those videos out. I'm going to annotate both of them once they're up. And also Dark Avenger Inc.'s link is in the description below if the annotations doesn't work for you. But let's talk about this episode. It's called Endgame, and this is the last episode. It's not even, I don't remember who exactly said it, but in this episode, but it's not a fail-safe that what they're trying to do with this last mission with the Reach, it is an endgame. At least that's what they're trying to do. So we get the whole team, Justice League. Well, first the Justice League in the beginning of this episode does clear the name. It takes a little while, but they clear the name. So the Justice League and the Young Justice team pretty much team up to get all these devices. There's 20 devices around the world to destroy the Earth, because the Reach wants to destroy Earth. So we all think, oh, everything's good, but one of the machines that they miss started to go blow up. That way the Earth would blow up. But the only people that could make a vacuum for this is Impulse, Flash, and Kid Flash says, alright, let me join. They're not going to do it alone. So, we get to see Kid Flash running, and now the thing starts to zap him. That means he starts to cease to exist. He dies in this episode. He ceases to exist, he dies. So what we have with that reverse with Artemis in episode 7, when that didn't actually happen, you know, Kid Flash had to deal with, you know, all that, but even though he knew that Artemis was undercover, now we actually get Kid Flash is actually dead. Usually with Young Justice, we usually get, honestly, we get surprises that, oh my god, they're dead. Even with last episodes, like, oh no, they're dead, but really, it was, it was pretend, because Ms. Martian, was Deathstroke. So Aqualad and Artemis were not actually dead. So a lot of the time in Young Justice, we get to see these characters not actually dead. So I'm thinking in my mind, alright, Kid Flash is not dead. So we get to see the end of this episode, Kid Flash is standing by his hologram remembrance. And I'm like, alright, Kid Flash is not dead. And Artemis goes into her tiger suit and says, hey Impulse, hey Bart. So obviously Bart is taking up the mantle of Kid Flash. A lot of people thought it was going to be Wally takes up the mantle of Flash, and then, you know, Bart takes up the mantle of Kid Flash. But obviously something else happened in this episode that really, yes, Bart becomes Kid Flash, but Wally doesn't become Flash. And then the end of this episode, we get to see the whole team. Nightwing's like, I need to take a break. And Aqualad's, I totally understand. I think Nightwing does have to mourn the death of Kid Flash. Artemis tells Wally's parents about his death, and it seems like she became part of the family still, and I think that was really important, because Artemis never really had a family. I mean, she has her mother, but I think we finally see that Wally's parents is also her family, and she's always going to be part of that family. So I liked how she was the one to tell them. And Artemis, you could see she really broke down. It really did make me tear up with that, because Artemis and Kid Flash are my two favorite characters. So it was really sad to see the Kid Flash cease to exist. I think that was really the point of this episode, was that. I think that was the biggest part. And also we get to see the Young Justice team. They were fighting to become part of the Justice League. In the beginning of the first episode, it's like, oh, we want to be part of the Justice League, and that was really the fight to become a Justice League member, and that's what the Young Justice was all about. And now they're finally in the Justice League Tower, and the Justice League says, you finally earned your spot. And I think that's really a good ending from what this show was, is that they kind of fought to be the Justice League, and any time like a member became a Justice League, they were all happy, because that was kind of the goal. So seeing that in this episode, I'm like, alright, the Young Justice actually made what they wanted to, and that's to be in the Justice League team. Yes, they're not called the Justice League, but honestly, I like that they're called the Young Justice because they had their own missions that they did well, and then they had their failures also. But I think they deserve to have their own name as Young Justice Team because they are a different team, but they really have the honor of being in the Watchtower. Sorry. So, yeah, this episode was really good. I think there is some parts, I think in the beginning it was a little bit slow. It started to just become like a season finale type of episode where we just get to see, oh, fight, you know, not much story. And the Justice League, honestly, the Justice League thing, I didn't really care about. So we all knew that they were gonna, you know, not go to jail or anything. So, I was a little bit, I don't know, a little bit bored towards the beginning. But then, like, everything started to pick up towards the end. Also, we get to see the Runaways. That story kind of, I know it's the last episode, but that story kind of just went somewhere else. It's like, oh, yeah, we'll join the team even though we didn't like you. I was happy we got to see real Roy from season 1. That, even though we didn't get to see him talk, it was nice to see that he's still there. So we get to see that. We get to see Lex Luthor become president, which I feel is like, alright, that's like the comics, so I understand what they're doing with that, and maybe that's why he helped them, is because he wanted to become president and show, oh, I helped Earth. Now let's talk about the last part of this episode, which is also a big part, but obviously we're never going to see how this continues. But we get to see the light still does exist, and now they're teaming up with Darkseid, and with Savage, he's teaming up with Darkseid, and that's just going to bring a whole new story. And we still had Black Beetle, he was still there, so who knows what would happen to him. Then Godfrey there, so who knows how he became part of that team. Maybe he talked to Lex Luthor or something, he was part of that team. Because at first it's like, oh yeah, he seems evil, but I don't think he's part of the light. But he is part of the light now, so that could have been interesting to see in Season 3. And honestly, I would like to see if Kid Flash is actually dead. I think, again, this is the first time a character actually stayed dead. It's really, I mean, I liked how he did go, you know. He went the way he would have, and he died a hero. So, it was sad. I'll always remember Kid Flash and Artemis. They were my favorite couple, and they were both my favorite characters. And I like how Artemis handled it. And I like that she didn't quit the team, and she really handled the whole situation really strong. Also, another thing, Superboy and Miss Martian seem like they're together, so that's nice. I mean, they didn't say, like, oh, we're officially together, but it seems like they're back together, or at least they're going for that track to being back together. Wonder Girl and Tim are together. I didn't see that. Well, I did, comic-wise, I saw that relationship coming, but because Tim and Wonder Girl did have a thing. It was a love triangle between Tim, Superboy, and Wonder Girl, so that's nice that they're together, and the couple things still happen, because that was a big thing with the Season 1 finale. We still have the couple thing in this also. Yeah, but I thought it was a good episode. I think it did have its faults with the Runaways. Again, that kind of, I know it was the last episode, but really that kind of, the whole story that they were progressing just, I was glad that they called Virgil Static, though, like we all expected it, but that was cool. So yeah, this is the last episode of Young Justice. I think it was a pretty good last episode. I don't think it's the best last episode I've seen. I think the last part of this episode was really, really good. The first half is like, it was a little slow. It was a build-up, but the last half is what really made this episode. I'm going to miss the show, definitely. It's definitely one of my favorite shows, and I made a lot of good friends with this show, and I got to hear your guys' opinions about the show. But one last time, tell me your guys' opinion about this episode. I think there's going to be a lot of opinions about this episode because a lot happened, especially towards the end of this episode. Did you think this was the best ending for the show? Honestly, I think they could have done better with the ending, but they didn't know they were going to end the show. I think for a season finale it was really good, but for a series finale, not thinking that what the writers had to deal with, just thinking story-wise, I think it could have been better. Maybe concentrating more on you know, the primary team from season 1. They could have concentrated a little bit more. They were all there, yes, but I think there really should have been some screen time with just them, instead of Blue Beetle being added into it. I think that's what I really would like to see, because that's just alluding back to season 1. And we didn't get to see Zatanna or Rocket, which was kind of a little bit of a disappointment. But really, I think it was a really solid episode, and I'm going to miss the show. So tell me in the comments below again, for the last time, tell me in the comments below what you thought. I think there's going to be a lot of opinions. So this is Comic Uno. Don't forget to check out the Young Justice Awards and the 2 other videos I'll be posting about Young Justice. So I'll see you guys later, and this is the last time for a Young Justice review. Bye.